Hi, Matt. I was looking forward to talking to you.
It was so clear to me that this is just about basically one person talking to another.
We all have the same excitements, passion, demons, procrastination.
I've been cursed and blessed with an overactive imagination.
Fucking A, man.
MattLees Gets Creative contains themes and subjects that may not be suitable for everyone listening. If you're easily offended, we suggest that you get your podcast on elsewhere.
Right here, right now, on MattLees Gets Creative.
I'll start songs sometimes with just like a drum loop or something like that, and then I'll write the guitar over the drum loop, or it kind of varies. But now that I'm able to use that, I find it more inspiring when, like, you know, after writing on guitar for so long, sometimes it gets like, okay, I've already kind of been across this vibe before, so I need something else to inspire me.
I met this week's guest, Alex Bryce, over 10 years ago in Southern Ontario when we were both musicians playing in various groups, both together and with other people. We played tons of shows together. Alex and I learned a lot together about the music scene, I think, and I'm really glad that he was able to sit down and talk to us. It's unbelievable for me, knowing him from the days of Alex Tintinelli, this amazingly talented kid, this blues enigma. And now he's Alex Bryce with an R&B and a soul and a funk style. His music is available on all digital media. Now don't forget to follow us at ML Gets Creative. That's for Twitter and that's for Instagram. And you can send us an email at mattleesgetscreative@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.
Fucking A, man. How you been?
I'm good. It's been a long time, hasn't it?
It has, bro. Too long.
It's really cool to be able to catch up with you, but especially be able to get you on this show.
Of course, man. You know what's funny? Actually, yesterday I was driving through downtown, and I drove past the circus room.
Right.
And it's obviously not the circus room no more. But
right.
I was just like reminiscing. I forget who I was with, but I was like reminiscing about like how I was in grade 9 or something, and me and you were playing at Circus Room, which was like the most dive bar in the whole city.
Oh, yeah.
We were playing there every week, and just the amount of shit that happened there, like stories that, you know?
Yeah.
Every time there was something new.
Every time. And it's so funny because you kind of forget when you're in it. But yeah, you're grade 9 at the time, right?
Sorry, it cut out, bro.
Yeah, you were grade 9 at the time. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I had no business. We had no business hanging out together.
School, and I was like, people have no clue, man, what happened the night before.
I mean, I've told the story about. Do you remember the guy who pretended to be fucking David Lee Roth?
Yeah.
Come on, like, I'm sure now we're both, I hope, we're older, wiser, and smarter. But like, especially me, shame on us, man. But for a few seconds, I think we both bought that.
Yeah.
So listen, dude, the way the show always works is I always like to start at the beginning. So what started it for you wanting to create music and write songs? Do you remember like the first moment of inspiration?
I would say, so pretty much like when I was younger, I think from about 5 to about like 13, 12-ish, I had no clue that I was even like had a knack for music or anything like that. I obviously loved music. My brother would always play like, you know, Cypress Hill and Snoop Dogg and all that stuff. So I knew like I loved it, but I didn't know I could do anything with it. And pretty much I was competing in a martial arts tournament, and I was supposed to go to Jamaica. And so I ended up having a seizure, and they wouldn't let me go. So all my friends went, and I just stayed back. And then I picked up my brother's guitar that week. And I think it was like a mix of like, because my dad was a musician, so that like helped inspire me. But also like in this city, there were so many open mics and chances for like new artists to go and and kind of just experiment on stage and stuff like that. I think that's kind of what inspired me. And then I guess I just had a knack for it. Like everyone said that, you know, for how long I had been playing guitar, that I was pretty good. So I was like, okay, well, let me keep going with this.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's just, you know, I hated my voice starting out. I hated singing because I had like a really high voice and I hated that. But I guess just like doing it and like doing it so much every week, like even like being thrown into the fire to like play with people like you or Douglas Watson or, you know, anybody really that I was playing with, it was like I just had to like figure it out. And then and again, like people like you that were songwriters as well, not just a guitar player or a vocalist. Definitely like I think like it made me be like, yo, I'm gonna try doing this a little bit differently too, because I was doing blues and stuff I seen you doing, and the reaction from what you were doing was like really dope. And you wrote catchy music, so I was like, damn, how do I like make something like that people will sing along to and we'll get the place going, right? So I think just like a mix of like curiosity and the right people around me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I always, when I think about those circus room boathouse days, I always tell people that that's when I went to school. Like that's when I went to college.
Yeah.
Because I learned so much during that time.
Oh, man.
And including learning a lot from you, man, and getting a lot of inspiration from you. So your kind words about me are very well received, because I felt the same about you, man. It was inspiring to see such a youngin'. I mean, you know, how old were you when we were sharing the stage? Like you said, you had it was crazy at that time.
Yeah, I think like the first time we started playing together, I was probably like 15.
Right? And ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, an unbelievable guitar player. Still today, of course, but I mean, for a 15-year-old, you know, just unbelievable. So of course we immediately start doing shows and everything together. And of course, like you said, you were doing the blues at the time, which was incredible. But of course, you start to grow as both a person, a human, and as a musician. And you start to pull away from the blues. So was that a deliberate move, or did you just kind of go with it with that?
I think it was just more so like trying to find like fully what was me, and like as much as like doing the blues was me, I feel like, you know, I love music so much that I don't like discriminate against genre. I don't like hate on a certain genre. I can always find like something I can like in what it is, you know. So because I was so influenced by so many different things, like, you know, hip hop, even before blues, hip hop was what I was listening to, and R&B. I think it was just like trying to explore the others, like try to explore my options and then put it all together into something that's like me, you know, like trying to combine all my influences into like one big a pot to make something that's, you know, kind of unique. At least that's what my goal is. So, yeah, I feel like it wasn't necessarily like, you know, because the blues in this city, everybody's like, you know, it's just like, for example, when Miles Davis everyone was doing jazz, and, you know, John Coltrane and everybody back then. And Miles Davis was into like all the other types of music that were coming through. Like the hip hop was just starting in New York and stuff like that. And he tried to embrace his other influences, but the kind of the jazz, you know, heads looked at him like, man, you can't be doing that. But I found that's what made him so great, is that he didn't care. There was no boundaries to music, you know. It was just about combining what he felt. And I think that's why I love Miles Davis, is because that's kind of what I tried to do. As much as people were like, yo, you're straying away from the blues, like you can't do these blues shows no more. And it's like, well, if you still see me do shows, I actually still do blues songs here and there in the show. Yeah. So, you know, it's just kind of like an uneducated thing for people to assume that like I just said fuck it and I'm not doing it no more. It's definitely a part of still what I do. It's it's maybe masked a little bit, so it's not just blues, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, that's especially from someone I was playing, like you said, every week with you during your formative years. And I loved watching you play blues, but I remember when we started, both of us, I think a little bit, started introducing like slightly veiled hip hop covers, you know, I think sometimes you and I would do it just to like just to get a pop out of the other guy, right? Like you'd do some Snoop Dogg, and I'd be like, oh, he's doing some fucking Snoop Dogg, and then the next week I try to learn like a line by Biggie or something, just to kind of get a reaction out of you. So I think it was always there as someone who knew you musically that you were gonna like go off on that, you were gonna go on your own path, because like, when I listen to your stuff now, I'm certainly glad, as much as, again, I love the blues, like you were doing stuff in 2007 that I'd be happy to release right now as a blues song, you know, like it's awesome stuff. But I love that you went on a journey, and I love that I can listen to all your stuff. For example, I was jamming out to Fool today.
Oh, nice.
And like, it's one of the, like you were talking about, you love all kinds of music. So if I were to just like, if you were to paint things with one brush, that wouldn't be my kind of music. With respect, you know what I mean by that. I don't mean it in that shot way. But I hear that song, and immediately I'm grooving to it, and you can sing along to it. And I love the clever things written, you know, because it's so updated, right? Like in my day, it would be like, why didn't you call me back? But in your day, it's like you read my text, but you didn't reply to it. So I love that you've really grown with it. That's a great tune.
Someone messaged me the other day, like, I put up like a little acoustic thing of something I wrote, and it was more like a soulful kind of bluesy feel. And someone was like, oh, like what? I don't know who's in your corner, like telling you to put out the pop music, but like that stuff is really like what I feel like separates you. That's what the person said. And I was like, well, for you to know that like no one's telling me to put radio mainstream music out. It's just that I have so much music that ranges in style that like when I hear them all, I feel like this one would best suit the radio, but it's not like I was specifically aiming for that, you know? Yeah,
you let the songs take you where they were once you kind of develop them.
Like I feel like you gotta play to the song, not just like the singer. Like the singing is just a melody that's an instrument in the song. Like that's why I'm not afraid to work with co-writers, different, you know, musicians and stuff like that, because I feel like sometimes the more people you still there, sir? I cut out.
Yeah, I'm here. Yep.
I said sometimes the more people are involved that are, you know, contributing to the project and on the kind of same wavelength as you, often turns out, you know, the song is better that way. At least that's what I find some of the time. So,
I've definitely learned that same lesson by letting collaboration be natural, and then you end up with a better song in the end. Especially for days when I was playing with guys like Wayne Bond and Jay Walsh, and you learn to kind of shut up and listen, and then everything kind of starts sounding a lot better. Was that harder for you in the blues days back then, because you kind of just like you were doing their thing, if that makes sense? Like, was it harder to express yourself when you were like, when it was the Alex Tintinelli blues band kind of thing?
Do you mean to like songwrite, or you mean
to songwrite? Because you're like, you know, as much as I love the blues, there's only so many blues songs, right? So
I think like for me then it was like my influence was Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix and B.B. King and stuff like that. So because I was listening to so much of that, I feel like writing the songs kind of like came that way, just because I guess it was my influence at the time.
Yeah.
But obviously, like a lot of the shit that I was writing then, like wasn't based off experience, because you know I was so young talking about grown shit.
Yeah, yeah. True love is gone; it's all faded away.
Yeah.
The man's 15. You know, so like an old soul in that way. But that's important for the blues, I think.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
So how much has live performance changed for you now, from the circus room days and when you go to see Alex Price today? I mean, I saw videos of you playing, was it downtown Toronto, which just looked like an amazing vibe. So what is that music scene like for you now? What is it that you're doing on the weekly, as it were?
Well, as far as the stage goes, and like obviously, like I would say that's my favorite part of music. Like in general, I like writing and I like recording, because, you know, creating something from nothing is a cool feeling.
Yeah.
But like the stage is where I just get the biggest rush, and I feel like that's where I want to be. Like that's where I'm the most happiest. But I feel like it's definitely changed in a way. Like right now, I'm trying to make the stage show like a show, not just like musicians that can play and that are playing my songs, but like I want to incorporate everybody on the stage as like a show, so that like the audience will leave and will have that like that experience that they won't forget, not just because they heard the song they liked, but because they seen something that, you know, they wouldn't expect from me. So I'm really trying to incorporate, you know, stuff like that into the show, and just to make it, just like cool little things that, you know, whether it's, you know, I actually have Jay Walsh playing guitar with me right now.
Amazing.
Which is awesome because I needed that energy. I got Donovan McKinley as well on bass. So like between those two on both sides of me, the energy is kind of where I'm trying to take it, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you know Jay Walsh's energy, so
it's unbelievable, both of those guys, for sure. So
yeah.
I mean, these days it's so easy for people to just stay home and listen to your songs on Spotify. You got to give them a reason to go to go and see you, right?
Exactly, and that's why, you know, Prince is one of my favorite, because his live shows would always be something different. It wouldn't be just like the record. You know, there's really no point to that because, again, you can just sit back and listen to it if you want. So that's why I feel like the live show is so important. And as like an artist, it's the most fun thing for me to kind of figure out how to make something that will make people want to come back, you know?
That's important because, you know, the people got a lot of reasons to stay home these days, right?
Yeah. And so, like, even with music in general, like, I feel like music now is so quick. It's like kind of like popcorn music, where I'm not hating on music, but it's just like it's attention spans. Like, people's attention spans are so quick, right?
Yeah.
That's why, like, not a lot of people drop full-length albums no more, because they usually just pick like the favorite 3 songs off the album and then, you know, toss the rest away. And it's like, well, that was all that work I did for the album, right? So I feel like it's kind of cool too, as a creative person, to like figure out how to like give quality in a day that's just so quick, you know?
Yeah.
It's
It's not like the days where you buy a CD or whatever and you spend like 2 weeks listening to it, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like they'll just move along and they'll skip and shuffle. And that's hard when you put that much effort and work into something, you know?
Oh, definitely.
Did you find it hard? Like, I guess you're a lot younger than I ever was, you know, but do you find it hard to stay up with technology and know that, like, all right, the new way to get exposure now is Twitter. All right, now it's into Instagram. Now it's this way or that way. Or did you just locate people good at that and kind of hang out with them?
It was hard. It was hard for a bit because I didn't really, like, I was using it, but I didn't know how to fully use it to where, you know, it's actually going to benefit me in the long run. So I definitely had to find the right people that knew how to use it and could teach me kind of how to implement my shit into how to really take advantage of it. So I was lucky to be able to find some people that knew what they were doing in that sense.
Yeah, and then so as far as like because your production on your songs is totally different now to when it, you know, to what it was. How does that process work now? Like, are you writing songs kind of with an acoustic, or are you using keyboards and things like that as well in your writing process?
A lot of the times I still like write on the guitar, but now that actually last year I got Logic. I got Logic and a little like MIDI keyboard. So I figured, like, you know, I was kind of tired on waiting on producers. Like, I'd give them something and they'd say they'll work on it, and then, you know, I don't get it back for a super long time, and then it's like I'm not even inspired to finish the song anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I might as well just, because I like know guitar, I can kind of figure out keys a little bit, like, you know, chords and stuff like that. So so last year I got that, and then throughout the whole summer last year, I was just producing like 3-4 songs a day just to kind of like really start to know how to do it. So now that I'm pretty familiar with it, I'll start songs sometimes with just like a drum loop or something like that, and then I'll write the guitar over the drum loop, or it kind of varies. But now that I'm able to use that, I find it more inspiring when, like, you know, after writing on guitar for so long, sometimes it gets like, okay, I've already kind of been across this vibe before, so I need something else to inspire me.
Yeah. We'll head right back to our conversation. I know, we all hate ads on our podcasts, but indulge me, if you will, just for a moment. Here at MLGC, we've started a patron program, but it's not like many of the other programs that you hear about, and that's for one special reason. And that reason is, it's all for a great cause. See, during season 1, we donated half of all our patron donations to the Velindre Cancer Centre right here in South Wales. It's a fantastic hospital run by amazing people that are saving lives every day, including my own. For season 2, we wanted to step things up. So I'm glad to let you know that from here on out, we're donating 100%. That's each and every penny we receive through our kind supporters to the Velindre Cancer Centre. Sure, we could use the funds towards the cost of running a show, but we wanted to do more with your kind donations, so we're paying it forward. If you'd like to help out, you can join the Creative Club, and it's $5 a month. You get access to exclusive episodes, a chance to submit questions in advance for upcoming guests, and you'll have the knowledge that you're helping me help others. I know everyone can't afford to donate to every cause, no matter how worthy they are. But if you are looking to spread some love, like our dear friend and supporter, the patron saint of podcasters, Librarian Kate, then we'd love to have you be a part of it. Check it out at patron.podbean.com/MattLees Gets Creative. That's patron.podbean.com/MattLees Gets Creative. Join the Creative Club and help us battle cancer one podcast at a time. I just came up with that last part on the fly. That's pretty good.
So yeah, it's definitely, I have more options now that I've kind of opened up into that producing realm a little bit.
Yeah, because you're right. It's so hard to just keep writing songs on an acoustic guitar, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times, well, for me, a lot of times, yeah, there's only so many chords. There's only so many vibes. But when you get like digital and electronic with it, I do it as well sometimes. And a lot of times I won't even use the tracks that I've created digitally. Mm-hmm. I'll just use those to flush out the song and finish writing the song.
Exactly. And then you send it to somebody to kind of
do it properly, as I say, you know, because I'm working on songs now that I made with like MIDI drums, played the bass and the keyboards myself, and then sent it off to proper musicians so they could delete and replace their necessary parts. And then you end up at the end of that with like a real song, as it were. And it's wild that you can do that these days. A lot of your producers are then, of course, probably worldwide, and it's kind of a collaboration that way as well.
Yeah. Like I have different writers as well that I write with, some from here, some from the States. And same with producers. I actually have like a couple producers here that are really, really good. So and they kind of know my vibe. So like, for example, Love in LA or like Make Me Say, those kind of songs I co-produced with them. So I came with the idea, and like he plays keys really well. So I'm not going to try and fake it and just play like basic keys when I can actually get something nice down. So
exactly. Yeah, that's important.
And I'm not greedy over the tracks either. Like I'm not like, oh, I have to take full percentage of everything. Like I feel like that's just, you know, not good for the overall track, right? So
yeah, it's a collaboration, so it should be a collaboration on every step, I think, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Now you have obviously good and bad times when you play live, and you have good and bad times when you write and record. What do you do when you're having like a really crappy night with a crappy crowd? How do you keep your head up, man? Because, you know, you were always really good at that, as far as I remember, when you were a young boy. Anyway, I feel old saying that to you, but
honestly, I think it's just like, it's about like connecting with the band on the stage. Like I feel like even sometimes if the audience is just whatever, they're just talking and they're not even acknowledging you, and you're playing your heart out, and it's like, oh shit, they don't even care. But then it's like, if I can just play to impress the band, like I feel like I kind of just go to that. Like if I can make whoever's drumming or whoever's playing bass or whatever just be like, yo, that was cool, or we just hit some like kind of syncopated thing together that didn't plan, it just happened. Stuff like that kind of like keeps the night going and keeps the vibe going, I would say.
Definitely.
And oftentimes I play with musicians that are better than me too, so I want to like impress them, you know. That's kind of like my goal. If I can impress them, I know the audience is probably like, "Oh, that's dope."
That's true. And do you think, I think, and do you agree that that's really important then to maybe play and write with musicians and producers that are probably maybe better than you, so you can grow?
Sure. Yeah, 100%. Like the worst thing you can be is comfortable. So I feel like, you know, it's all about learning. Like, and you're never gonna know everything. So there's always someone that's had different experiences that'll know shit that you haven't. So I'm definitely an advocate for playing or writing with people that are better than you.
Yeah. So how does it work then, as far as like the actual process for rehearsal? I know back, you know, we were always just kind of like loosey goosey, but you're not on that level anymore. So is it a regimented rehearsal schedule, and is that hard to keep up with? Because obviously the live gig is the most fun, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah. For this tour and stuff, I've been kind of getting together with different parts of the band just to get everyone like familiar with the songs and stuff like that. And then obviously we do like a few like really big rehearsals with the full band, and you know, whether it's like 6 hours or something like that, just to get it down. You don't forget nothing. But I'm incorporating like the pad with the drums, so you triggering a lot of stuff over top of the live instruments. So I'm kind of just figuring out with the band different ways to implement that where we can still improvise. Like it's not just on a click and you have to do it exactly like the record is. But yeah, I would say like I do it like that, like just kind of get with different pieces, get everybody comfortable, especially because it's kind of, I put this band together as like, we've all played before individually, but playing together, this will be the first time. So I want everybody to be comfortable and know their parts. So that's the main thing, is just everyone's being comfortable, because then that leaves us room for, you know, little choreography type things. If everyone's comfortable with the music, it makes the rest of the show aspect a lot easier, I'd say. So
definitely. And I mean, like you were saying, you got guys like Jay Walsh, and on bass, Darius, right? Was it Darius you said?
Donovan.
So like, you know, extremely tight musicians, right? So it's also much better for them, for you to like show them exactly what the songs are and how to get them together so that they can play at their best too, right? Because I mean, I played a few Sundays ago with Jay Walsh while he was basically remembering my songs as we played them. And it was fucking dope. Like, it was better than I would have played the guitar myself on my own song, you know? So I can't imagine being able to really get deep with guys like that and really be able to work out, like you said, a 6-hour rehearsal, work out the ins and the out. The crowd then are in for such a good show, man.
Yeah, and I really can't wait. It's going to be something different than, like, you know, people are used to seeing me play with the guitar the whole time. It's just like kind of what I've known for doing because I've done it for so long. So now I'm trying to embrace, like, you know, give people tastes of that, not just like, you know.
Yeah.
Stand the whole time.
Yeah, because you're not doing that kind of show anymore. You're doing like a musical night. Like you're like you said, you want to put on a show. It's not just you know, the old school show of get up, play 10 songs, bow, get off. You know.
For real.
So I'm envious of being able to see that kind of show. When is the next show for Loc? We do get a lot of listeners from your neck of the woods. So is there a show on the horizon right now?
Yeah, so like for the tour, the first show is actually in Waterloo at the Starlight,
which is one of the greatest venues I've ever played in my life. What an amazing!
Oh man, venue. I love that venue. Yeah. And the owner's really cool. He's always been like loyal to me and kept his word. So that's why, you know, out of all the venues, that's the one I keep going back to because, you know, I just feel the most comfortable. And
yeah, because that part's rare, man. Right? Like the part of you said about he always keeps his word. That's rare.
Yeah. That's very rare,
especially in this, in all business, but especially in music.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's July 11th, and then we're going to Toronto to do on July 12th at this place called The Joint, and then I'm doing Brampton 2 nights in a row after that. It's for like a Caravana fiesta type thing, but in Brampton instead of Toronto. And then I'll be doing Guelph at the Sip Club on July the 18th, and then July 20th in Ottawa at Mavericks with some dope openers as well. And then flying out to Vancouver to do some around there, hit Surrey as well.
Yeah. And for these shows, is it one lineup? You got the same guys going with you for the whole run, or are some of them just yourself?
So out west and out east will be more so myself with like maybe one other guy, more stripped down. But in Ontario, it'll be the full band. We'll have a few different openers on different nights, like in Ottawa, a couple acts from that city that are on the come up. We reached out to them and said we might as well just, all collaborate on the night. So, little things like that. But as far as the band goes, it'll be pretty much the same lineup. Do it all. Which is, again, also exciting because then it's like it almost becomes like a sports team and you're on the road together, right? Yeah, exactly. And I went on the road maybe like 7-8 years ago with Pocket City, and we did like West Coast 2 times in a row. And it was just crazy because of like we drove the whole time, and it's like 24 hours alone just to get out of Ontario. So and it was a winter storm, like, so we picked really the worst times to go, but it made for like the best stories and stuff like that. And I remember some of the videos back from those days of Pocket City. Is there still? I still remember with the lyrics to Swagger High, man. That's the impact, right? Is there still some element of that in your live show that Pocket City kind of vibe? Maybe a little bit. The difference is I'm not rapping anymore, right. But there's definitely like the funky type vibes that Pocket City had. We're definitely keeping that going. Yeah. But yeah, I just figured, rapping, I definitely had fun doing it. And you always used to rap all the time. I remember even I had the song Shine On Me, and you were like, you had this rhyme you had written, and I was like, bro, you got to let me use that rhyme for this song. Yeah. And it's totally cool. Every time I play that song, everyone's like, do the rap, do the rap. And that's the rap written by your fucking, the old dude you used to play music with. That's funny as fuck, isn't it? Fucking right. But I guess you and I were in that comfort level because I am by no means a rapper. But you and I were so comfortable musically, like you were talking about, that we would just throw shit out there, man. And we'd, all of a sudden, before I knew it, I'm fucking rapping in front of a crowd. And I'm like, I have no business doing this, but we're having a good time. And I made Alex laugh. And it was so different, too, from what we were doing here, that people just were taken off guard by it. Right? Yeah. And I think we kind of enjoyed that because they'd see like our names together and they'd go, all right, MattLees and Alex TNT at the time. They'd be, I know what I'm going to get from this night. And then we'd come out doing, gin and juice with 15-year-old you. And people are like, oh, shit, I didn't know what was coming from this night. Yeah, no, for sure. That's why I enjoyed it because we didn't have any, there's not like no ego or nothing when we played together. It was just like, we had like a good relationship. So I felt like that's what made it fun and like want to keep doing it. Like, yeah, definitely. We just had a good time. We just played music together. We really enjoyed it. We had some fucked up adventures. We had some great times though, man. And like I said, I learned a lot during that time and things like you saying, oh, let me use that rap you wrote in my song. Those were really cool moments as somebody that was also, while I was older than you, I was also growing musically too. So those things were really important moments for me too. So, it's cool that we got to do it, especially at a place like the Circus Room. And I'm glad neither one of us ever died in that place. Yeah. Considering they closed it because someone died. Yeah, it's unbelievable. And we always used to joke. I mean, it's terrible to say now. However, we always used to joke of like, yo, someone's going to get killed in this place one day, right? Oh, 100%. It had that it had that vibe. And it was funny because again, I was in high school or maybe grade 8 or whatever. And people were offering me all the drugs and pretty much everything. I was going to school. Can you believe what just happened last night? Yeah. And people had no clue. Yeah, but you kept your head up too, man. You weren't into all that shit. You weren't doing any of that shit. You were kind of nah, it's cool. And that must not have been easy, man. So, but I just can't imagine going to school the next morning after some of the nights we had, especially that David Lee Roth guy, Yeah, man.
It's just it's
Yeah, and people at my age at that time had never even been to a bar, like at night, right? So they were like, they had no clue what even I was talking about.
yeah. Amazing, because I mean, especially at the time, women, they obviously, I'm sure they still do, but women back then loved you, man.
Oh yeah.
So imagine they're just hanging all over you, and then the next morning you're like in history class. And you used to tell me at the time, you'd be like, "It's fucking weird, man," because like the next morning I'm just sitting there in class, and it's just people have no idea, you know.
Yeah, it was weird. It was actually like it made school harder because I'm just like, fuck, I don't want to be here. Like,
Right.
I can make money and play out at night, right?
Right, yeah, because I mean, most kids don't want to be in school, right? They know they want to do something else, but you knew you wanted to do something else, and you also by then knew you were good enough, or you were becoming good enough to do that for your life, for your living. So why the fuck did you care about going to geography class and things? You know,
I was definitely like blessed to have been able to find what I wanted so early.
Yeah, because that's rare, I think.
That's very rare, yeah. And I think the hardest thing about it all is like sticking it through even till now, and even till whatever 10 years from now. It's like so many like ups and downs, and fuck, it's, you know, the worst thing you can do is stop after especially if you've gotten this far, right? So
yeah, because I think every time you stop, it's harder to start up again, right? But if you just keep going on it. But I mean, yeah, you've always just kept that fight, man. And you must have those tough days too, where you think like, what's the point?
Yeah.
You know,
definitely, man.
For me, I get those moments when I hear a really, 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 and I'm not hating on anyone specific, but when you hear a really poor song on the radio, and you're like, are you serious? Like
how the hell did this do it and my shit's not?
Like, I've been doing this my whole life and I can't do better than that. I'm not better than that song. And I think it's an important lesson to learn that creativity especially isn't about that, is it? You know, you kind of have to put that aside and just create for the sole purpose of creating, and to be damned if anyone listens to it, you know. I guess.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to swallow, right?
Yeah, because I can say those words, man, but I don't mean them, right? Like, I totally don't mean that. I want everyone to listen to my stuff, and I want everyone to love it, you know? It's just one of those hard things, man. So when you look, like, you must have, like I did then, you must have young up-and-comer musicians hanging around with you now. For you and I, it was never like sit down and I'm going to give you some advice, son, because we were learning together. But are there lessons that you have learned that you now see younger musicians and you think like, I know where this guy's headed. I know what that guy needs to learn. You know.
Yeah, like kind of, but I don't really like, unless someone asks me for advice or something like that. I'm not the type to just like to go and be like, listen, this is the reality and this is where I see that you're going. I kind of don't like, I let people just do their thing. You're really only going to learn by going through it. You know, especially when an older person tells you, you're just like, oh, whatever. Right? No matter how good the advice is.
Yeah, I mean, even if you weren't going to give them advice, there must be young musicians you see where you think like, oh, that this person needs to learn some humility, you know. Oh, yeah. Or this person is going to be a great guitar player, but not yet, you know. And you never say that to someone because you never mean it as a negative thing. But it's cool to see then somebody grow on that journey, you know, and become, you know, something really phenomenal when you saw them at their most raw. I think I always love it. Cool. Yeah, because you think, oh, I've known this. I heard this guy play when he could, you know, only could play 3 chords, you know, and now listen to this song and you're kind of there for that whole journey. So it's really interesting. Dude, this has been an awesome conversation, man. Like, I'm always... Yeah, man. I love catching up with you. I'm glad you
reached out, because I was going to reach out to you anyway and be like, yo, we got to do this soon. So that's...
That's cool that we were kind of on the same page that way, man. You know, because I was definitely going to reach out and chat with you. I'll put links up and everything and all that kind of stuff. But, other than that, I give all your family all my love from me.
For sure. Hey, Mom. MattLees says he loves you.
I love you, Matt.
Thank you.
Love you too. Loves you.
That's awesome, dude. So yeah, please take care of everyone, and maybe you and I should collaborate on a song. I know you're not just a guitar player anymore, but
bro, I'm 100% down.
Yeah, with these Digis things, I can pretty much just send you an instrumental for you to throw some backing vocals and some guitars on if you're down.
Please do that. That would be sick.
I will. I've still got the old tapes of you doing a version of Hostile.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where you're doing the backing vocals and you did a lead on it for me at Wayne.
Was that at Wayne Bond's house?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah, so, but I'll definitely be in touch regarding that. And if you ever come play in the UK, you should do that really soon.
I was actually thinking about doing that like the end of the year, trying to come out there. So like, even if you have anyone that you know that I can talk to, that books or anything like that.
Yeah, I kind of fell out of I didn't get much into the scene here, but I can definitely do my feelers out, And of course, if you're playing a gig anywhere near here and you got anyone else opening other than me, I'm going to beat them up outside, just so you're aware.
I expect that, at least.
I'm going to Noel Gallagher that motherfucker and be like, no, that's my name on the list. Get the fuck out of the way. Next time on MattLees Gets Creative.
Sit down and grab 3 or 4 images that I found and put them all into the one scene and do these massive A3 oil pastel pictures, and that's kind of where people started going, you're actually really good at that.
That's next time on MattLees Gets Creative. Can you believe it? We've almost wrapped up season 2, so thank you so much for listening to both seasons so far, and I've enjoyed every single episode this season. We've got an awesome season finale for number 2 coming up in a couple of weeks. Can't wait. Thanks for listening. Please don't forget to listen, share, and subscribe. Leave a review. 5 stars if you could. Follow us on social media at ML Gets Creative. That's Twitter and Instagram. You can email us MattLeesGetsCreative@gmail.com. And of course, as always, loyal listener, thanks for listening.